Will the Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee reconvene? This is a recessed meeting from August 5th, and the time is 1:34. If everyone can please silence their cell phones or noise-making devices, that will help our cause. Members, in accordance with the Sunshine Law, if you are not in the Kalanapakui conference room, please identify by name who, if anyone, is in the room, vehicle, or workspace with you today. Minors do not need to be identified. Also, please see the last page of the agenda for information on meeting connectivity. My name is Tamara Paultian, and I'll be your chair for today's DRIP meeting. We have with us Committee Vice Chair Nohelani Uuhajins. Aloha Winala.
Aloha, Chair. Aloha, everyone. I'm at my parents' personal residence right now. I'm alone in my space. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't heard from Member Batangan. I guess he may be absent today. We have Council Member Cook. Aloha Winala.
Aloha, Chair. I'm here in the
Thank you.
planning conference room, camping out with everybody.
Thank you. We also have Committee Member Gabe Johnson. Aloha Winala.
Aloha, Chair. I'm here and ready to work.
Thank you. And I guess Alice Lee is also absent at this time. Member Kiani Rollins Fernandez. Aloha Winala.
Aloha Winala, Chair. My Molokai Nui Hina. I'm at my private. No, I'm not at my private. I am at the Molokai District Office. Alone on my side of the office. There are no tests. Oh, we're not taking testifiers. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. And Member Sinensi did ask to be excused. Either Member Sugimura is late or absent, not sure. We have a hard out at 4 p.m. because this is not our space and they've scheduled cleaning, so we'll need to end by 4 p.m. I'm gonna try and hold the executive sessions. Oh, Member Sugimura, aloha winala. Can you hear me? Member Sugimura?
Hi. Can you hear
Hi.
me now? Okay.
I
Sorry,
can
had
hear
to
you. Aloha
get
winala,
settled.
do you have anything to disclose for us?
Oh, I'm just in a private place in a private room by myself.
Perfect, thank you. I was just mentioning to the members that we have a hard out at 4 p.m. We do have an executive session. I was gonna take up the other matters first to give, if any other members were going to join give them a chance to join. This meeting of the Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee of the Maui County Council is located on the traditional Aina of Kanaka Oiwi, who never ceded their sovereignty to the United States. We recognize that Her Majesty Queen Liliuokalani yielded the Hawaiian Kingdom to the U.S. in duress under threat of violence to avoid the bloodshed of her people. We further recognize that Hawaii remains an illegally occupied nation state by the U.S., as documented in a 2021 scholarly article for the National Lawyers Guild review by Andrew Reed, adjunct professor of law at the University of Denver Sturm College of Law. Generations of Kanaka Maoli and their knowledge systems have sustainably cared for Hawaii and continue to do so. We are grateful to occupy this space and learn the ways in which we can contribute. As a committee, we seek to support the very strategies that Indigenous people of Hawaii are using to protect their land and their communities and commit to dedicating time and resources to working in solidarity. From the Department of Water Supply, we have Deputy Director of Water Supply, Kimo Landgraf. From the Department of Management, we have Managing Director Josiah Nishita and Office of Recovery Administrator John Smith. From Department of Housing, we have Director Remy Mitchell. The Department of Human Concerns something came up, so they won't be able to make it. From Corporation Counsel, we have Deputy Corp Counsel Rowe, as well as Deputy Corp Counsel Andrew Nelson stepping in for Michael Hopper. Other resources that we have, the Deputy Director Trista Spear of Human Services, and Maui Emergency Management Director yes, Amos Lono Kailua Hewitt. We also have DRIP committee staff with us this afternoon. As a reminder, oral testimony on DRIP 9.4 was closed on August 5th, 2026, but written testimony will continue to be accepted. Members, we will continue where we left off from last meeting. Before we recessed, we held an executive session relating to the proposed acquisition of lands in Ku'ia. Later today, in giving folks a little bit more time to join, hopefully maybe Charlie or Member Batangan might come on. Then we can go into executive session if necessary related to the proposed acquisition of Laniapoko Irrigation Company Incorporated's water infrastructure assets. That's the non-potable side because we already voted on the potable side. We can also discuss other matters such as disaster case management program and transitioning its participants from temporary to permanent housing. So if members are okay with it, I guess we did get Deputy Clerk Counsel Mike Hopper back. So looks like we'll be doing a switch out here. But if members would like to focus on the rest of the presentation that we received last Wednesday, and maybe we'll try to hold off on the executive session until we get that part answered. But I do want to get to the executive session today. So maybe if we're not there by 2:30, we can just switch over if there's a desire to go into executive session to learn about the Laniapoko Irrigation Company water infrastructure asset proposed purchase. So the other area that I wanted to focus in on, and that has been kind of top of mind in my community, is the transition of the disaster case management program from the state to the county, and where folks are gonna live when FEMA pulls out, or the temp to permanent housing portion of things. So I'll start off discussion and propose 4 minutes per member to start off with. I can go to Committee Vice Chair Nohe Hodgins if you're ready.
Sure, Chair. Thank you. I will ask exactly that, your question. What's the plan for the temp to permanent housing? And I'm happy to hear that answer from whoever is there with you.
Sorry, can we pause Member Hodgins' time? Administrator John Smith was asking if we can also re-pull back the presentation to help him with his answering of questions. Is that possible, staff? Did you get a chance to hear Member Hodgins' question? No.
Chair, in the meantime, I guess maybe while staff is pulling some things up, just to maybe reiterate from one of the previous meetings, the mayor did submit an official request to HIEMA to make a request to FEMA for a limited extension under certain parameters and conditions. And we've had some good discussions, I think, around that already. But in relation to that, just wanted to, and I think what the staff pulled up might have been, the old presentation we did. Got to go to the newest link under this item. But anyway, just to, I guess, remind the community members and then council too, that request is out there. We'll keep you guys informed of that. And one thing that the Office of Recovery noted at the last meeting too was in regards to some of the transitions of services and other programs that will help assist in kind of bringing everything under one umbrella, which includes the disaster case management program and various housing assistance programs. So this does look like the correct presentation, and then I'll
Thank you. Mr. Nishita, could you clarify what the specific request is to FEMA? Or
yeah, Chair, I'd be happy to maybe even get you guys a copy of the letter just so I don't have to try to regurgitate something from memory, but we can provide you a copy of that. Yeah, thanks.
That'd be great. Thank you. And I did get an update that Member Batangan is excused and that it's Deputy Corp Counsel Nancy Zhao, not Deputy Corp Counsel Caleb Rowe. So we have Deputy Corp Counsel Nancy Zhao as well as Deputy Corp Counsel Mike Copper. We have the most recent presentation queued up, and maybe we just start Member Hodgins again from the start, because I'm not sure that Mr. Smith heard the question because he was asking me about the presentation. Okay,
Thank you, Chair.
Redo.
Thank you. I just asked, your question was to provide us maybe a description of the transition between the temporary homes and the permanent homes. I know that you have a grid and kind of a bullet point situation for housing transition programs 1 and 2, and it goes from county to state county temp site, and it kind of shows you FEMA to county. So I was just wondering how those transitions are going to work and what's our plan for permanent housing.
Thank you for that question, Chair. Okay. Never know what volume to give myself. Thank you. Okay, this slide is the one I was hoping to get to. Thank you. And is this the grid that you're talking about, Council Member?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this one paints the picture from the big picture. So here we are in August, and the numbers on the left side of the screen are the current interim housing situation for disaster survivors, and these are the locations. So right now we have Hale, Kalaiola, Kilohana, direct lease, the CTHA, and the micro sites and private sites. There's 6 private sites out of that 40 number. Haleola'i and Kilohana, those 2 sites will transition to the Office of Recovery to be used for the next 3 or 4 years while the permanent housing stock is built. So the units will be available for this population, but we'll have to recertify everyone into a new program that's county-led. That's the real simple version of it. Before that can happen, though, 2 things need to happen. The Haleola'i needs to switch from the county jurisdiction to, from the state jurisdiction to the county. That's all in progress right now. Department of Housing is currently the lead agency on that, and they'll continue to be the lead agency for the permanent work that happens at Hale. But what we've worked with the state on is how do we manage in a temporary situation, and how do we best utilize that facility to house folks? So that's all been worked out in agreement, but all those agreements are being processed right now. So it's HHFDC, the state, and the county working together to move that all over into county jurisdiction. Office of Recovery will handle the temporary piece of it. Housing Department will handle the permanent piece of it. Kilohana is a similar situation, but it's a very different setup. This is 157 essentially small homes. And right now they're being run and programmed and paid for by FEMA. And HHFDC is actually the owner, but the one managing the land. And so we're working on that transfer from HHFDC to the county so that ultimately we can control and work with those units on a more permanent solution. But in the interim, Office Recovery is going to step in and help manage that population as well. So we're going to catch those 2. The state will continue with Kalaiola in its program, and it sounds like for as long as they need to keep people in a housing solution. And then a lot of the requests that we're putting into FEMA are related to the lease assistance that's happening. So the direct lease and the CTHA and that piece of it, the county is also launching a rental assistance program to help step in where folks fall out of that program as well. So that's what's all those things are happening in concurrently. We see a version of all of these things being in play through June 2030, because June 2030 is around the time when most of the multifamily large rental or permanent structures are going to be completed, mostly in Lahaina.
If I may just follow up, CTHA means Continued Temporary Housing Assistance. Is Ohana Hope Village included in that?
I don't think so. Do you know?
Chair, so Ohana Hope Village is a privately run site. It's possible that there are individuals who are in the CTHA program that are potentially renting or whatnot through that program. I would say at this moment, we don't have the data because we're in the process of taking over, I think, the DCMP program and other pieces of that will help kind of paint the full picture for us as to kind of where everybody is in the programs that they're leveraging.
And to clarify, the microsites, the 6 private sites, does that include Tadashi Yanai Village?
Chair, no, that is a private site.
But it does say microsites private, so just
Yeah, what it's referencing is there are like temporary units on private property. So there's one more kind of over by the old Kaiser area. There's one more prominent because there's a lot of units located all together, but there's also kind of microsites where a unit may have been placed kind of as like an ADU or Ohana unit on some
so
property.
to clarify, the interim housing doesn't account for all the interim housing that fire survivors are living in, because you're not sure about Tadashi Yanai's place or Ohana Hope Village or any other.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, Tadashi Yanai's place is a separate private project. What we're talking about is, I think the concern from the community is they tend to call it like the FEMA cliff or something like that. I mean, I wish we had better terminology for it.
Concerns from people at Ohana Hope Village too, so there's more than enough concerns to go around.
Yeah, but I think the concern is like if FEMA, stops providing additional assistance, whether monetary or programmatic, and then what happens to those households in existing programs. And so that's what we're talking about here with the upcoming current deadline of February 2027 for that temporary assistance. That's what's outlined in the interim housing program, is those still essentially still participating in some type of FEMA related program. We do know that there's others who have, found their own path, are utilizing other programs, state or county programs, or through philanthropy or other things like that. But this specifically is in relation to how we make sure that there's not a huge drop off when and if FEMA does exit the market.
Okay, so we're mainly focused on the FEMA exit in this. Member Uhajins, did you want to ask Mr. Mitchell to weigh in on the Haleola'i transition?
I would. I did it. I heard my bell, but there was a couple follow-up questions I had for that. Because we need to reclassify everyone from the state process to the county process. I'm wondering if it's going to be the same process so the same qualified people can continue to qualify. And then what kind of communication are we having with them? Because we heard from this morning that I think it's still uncertain for them. So how can we close that gap? Thank you.
And I don't know who is the best to answer that, Mr. Mitchell or Mr. Smith.
Well, I can start with that one. So the FEMA population that we're dealing with on this slide, we are going to launch a public campaign in terms of communicating how to move from FEMA to the Office of Recovery Program. That hasn't launched yet. So we will be able to answer those questions in the coming months, while we're still asking for FEMA to continue to extend their some of their help to us. So there's work to be done there before we can effectively communicate the final outcome of this, because we want to keep asking FEMA for support, clearly.
Mr. Mitchell, did you have anything you wanted to add about the transition?
Thank you, Chair Paulton. And I think part of the question was the concern the current tenants might have with when the transition should occur. I think that was what you were angling for, Member Hodgins. So Department of Human Services and the Governor's Office did in January of this year issue a notice to the current tenants that they were to vacate the premises by August. In the last few weeks, I've had a number of communications with the building management, Paramount, to find the status of the communications with the tenants, and have learned that Human Services and the Governor's Office intends to, if they haven't already, and I don't know as of today, update that communication, issue a new one with a move-out date closer to the end of February transition, when the council will take over the building. But they did note that they should have issued that much sooner, and they're working on that. And as we speak, I don't know whether they've issued it yet. Was there a second part to the question that you would like me to address?
No,
No.
thank you.
Okay,
Maybe
thank
we
you.
can go to Deputy Spear if she has any information on the communication with the residents at Haleola EA.
Chair, I apologize. I don't see Deputy Director Spear online at the moment.
Okay, thank you. I can go by, oh, she's just joining now. Shoot. Are you able to enable Deputy Spear?
Thank you, Chair. She's now enabled.
Okay. Aloha, Deputy Spear. We just were discussing if there had been a communication from the Department of Human Services to the residents at Haleola EA extending their move-out date.
Hi, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties. I'm happy to circle up on that. I know we were in communication with the Hawaii Interim Housing Program, which is led by the Hawaii Office of Recovery and Resiliency, to ensure that those communications are sent out. But I can circle back to you on that. But I know that that was a top priority.
Thank you. That would be great. Okay. Who would like to go next? I can go by raise of hands or alphabetical. If somebody. Okay. Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. And first off, thank you for everybody who does this kind of work. I really appreciate you guys. It's, we just got through Hurricane Lala. We got another hurricane on the way. And that kind of leads me to my question is that, how do you juggle these pots of money when we get hit with another storm? Like, let's say you spent some money on a project, it's coming along, and then this Hurricane Lala comes and knocks your project down after you use that FEMA money for your first batch of money from the fire. First off, did that happen? And if it does happen, there's no commingling of funds. There's one disaster fund. This is your fund, and we got another. We're spinning disaster plates. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah, I'll start. I'm sure Managing Director will want to jump in. We always build in some contingency with our planning efforts so that we don't completely max out everything. So there's always a little bit of that there. So even when you look at those numbers, we understand that there is some space right now in Haleola EA, for example. So we have some surge capacity. And it happened during the Kona low. Like we had families that needed a place to stay. And thankfully, we have really good partners at the state that are actively managing it. And it's with Trista folks and with Haima folks and the Hior folks. And we just make a phone call and say, hey, we know there's some space there right now. And we're able to move people in. So we don't plan on completely maxing out all of these solutions, knowing that there's more storms coming. That's one way. And then obviously, if it becomes beyond that capacity, then we're going to be back in here asking for additional support.
So the FEMA money for the fire is X amount of dollars. And then a hurricane is coming. Can we use any of that hurricane money when it affects the fire area?
Thank you, Chair. I mean, so it would really depend, I think, on the specifics of it, like whether the hurricane or flooding or whatever may have affected a previously fire impacted area, then it would potentially qualify under that event. It does get really complicated. If you think of like the Kona lows, where we had like multiple back-to-back kind of storm systems come in.
Yeah.
We literally are having to like track by the storm system. So even for reimbursements, there's some things that just, can't help. Like maybe it's too close in nature, or, the damage can't be ascertained to a specific storm or not. But we do have to do our best to kind of piece those things out and identify like when damage occurred or what got damaged. And then even things could be further exacerbated by a future storm before improvements can be made. And then that additional damage now gets attributed to the new storm. So it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of tracking.
Yeah, that's my worry is it's not a nimble process that we have to deal with. So that takes me to the end of my line of questioning, but I will say that Yanai Village, very fascinating that exists, and that we have a billionaire who's willing to kick in literally money and literally things to help us. I just saw in the news he donated $3 million to this Hurricane Lala. Boy, I tell you, I wish there was some billionaires in our neck of the woods would pay attention to this kind of billionaire money. Anyways, I just wanted to add that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I see Member Sugimura? Did you have your hand up?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and nice seeing you all again. So a question that I have is our 1.6 billion money goes to 2031, and your charts go to 2030. So what kind of transition are you seeing, or are you thinking that we're going to get additional money to carry us through this large wildfire disaster, or what's going to happen after after 2031 comes and goes?
Well, if you can pull that chart back up, the 2030 number was just meant to represent by the time we get to 2030, the population that's at like 1,100 right now will be theoretically really close to zero. That's the plan. The 2031 is the drop dead timeline for the CDBG DR fund itself. So wasn't trying to correlate those two things in this presentation, but we are actively working with our federal partners on funding for recovery beyond the CDBG DR money. Just 2 weeks ago, we met with the EPA to talk to them about the potential for additional funding for disaster recovery that is related mostly to infrastructure and housing. But we are hopeful that our federal partners will come through to us for a number of these unmet needs in this same space. So if that were to happen, and say we were to get another $100 million from the EPA, for example, that's one of the things we were just talking with them about, then that would be a thing we would bring to you folks. And that timeline would extend us well beyond the 2031. That's just an example, but that's what we're working on in the background.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, sorry. If I may add to some of the programs through DR may have like revenue generating pieces to it. So similar, I think County of Kauai, I believe they're still operating some of their DR programs from Iniki. And the other ability that jurisdictions have is, I mean, you can go back in and request additional funding in future years. And so what we really want to do is demonstrate that we're good stewards of that we have the capacity to manage it, and that we're applying it in all the right places. And that will give us kind of the, storyline and justification needed to really make a request for additional funding that could help kind of additional unmet needs as well as additional needs into the future.
Okay, so the DR funds, which are going to expire in 2031, doesn't necessarily then impact your presentation in that you're looking for other funds to continue in the background.
Yes.
Okay, and then I see, are you timing us, Chair? I don't know if I didn't hear the buzzer.
Yes, it's 4 minutes and it didn't ring yet.
Oh, okay. So I see that we have Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General Spear. So I just would like to hear anything that she
Deputy
would like
Human
to.
Services.
Oh, that's Human Services?
Yes,
Oh,
I was formerly with
Human
the
Ser-
Department of the Attorney General, so maybe that's where the confusion comes in, but I'm with the Department of Human Services.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you are working with us on this because Governor Green had a big part in terms of helping us with housing. So what is your perspective on all of this?
On the housing recovery?
Yes.
Well, of course, am I permitted to answer despite the
Yes,
buzzer?
go ahead.
Okay. All right, thank
Please
you. I
answer.
wanted to make sure I followed proper protocol. Well, of course, the governor is committed to housing with Kala'iola and his commitment there. For more details or if there's specific questions, I may need to refer to Director Campos, who has been lead on that in coordination with the governor's office. And, you know, as we've stated, we've worked closely with Mr. Smith and the Maui County Office of Recovery to ensure transition from the disaster case management program from the state to the county. And then the other two interim housing programs that the Department of Human Services led, the GAP program and the RAP program, successfully concluded in August of 2025, where all 340 of those households were successfully transitioned, either 48% to a permanent housing solution and the remaining to other interim housing solutions, such as the Hawaii Interim Housing Program, which includes Hale'ulai'ie as well as Kala'iola.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
buzzer went off.
Yes, either Member Cook or Member Rollins Fernandez, any questions? You don't have to if you don't have. No. Okay, I'll go ask my questions then. For the DCMP transition, when is the county scheduled to take over, and do we need to hire people, or are we taking on the people on the state side?
Yeah, we've technically already taken over the program. We've hired the existing providers currently through the end of September at least. And then we've got an active procurement that is being finalized as we speak for the long-term provider for that service.
Thank you. And then it looks like on permanent housing you have Kaihale o Kahiluhilu Phase 2. Is that in Kahului?
Which one are you talking about?
On the housing transition strategy, it says Front Street Apartments, and right before that, below that, it says Kaihale o Kahiluhilu Phase 2. Is that in Lahaina or Kahului?
I think that is in Kahului, but can you pull that back up?
The second one down. It says permanent Lahaina housing, but my understanding is Kaihale o Kahiluhilu is in Kahului.
Yeah, that's not labeled correctly.
Yeah, Chair. I think that was a mislabeling of the actual unit, because essentially what we're providing there is the multifamily units being funded through the DR program. So we can go correct that and then have that resubmitted.
Do we know what it was supposed to be, like Weinberg Court Apartments or Kahale Akeola, or what was it meant?
Yeah,
We don't know.
well, no, I know.
Well, there's eight multifamily projects that receive funding through the multifamily recon program. So if you give us a few minutes here, we'll pull up the names of all of them. Yeah.
Okay. And then Kipu'ola Kauhale is not on here. Is that because it's just open to anyone and not specifically aimed at fire survivors?
Right. We were really trying to focus this in on solutions for fire survivors, and then just tying it to the projects that the Office of Recovery is directly involved with. There are like some of the temporary units and some of the longer term projects that are out there that the Department of Housing is backing are not on this presentation. So it wasn't meant to be that presentation. It was just to try to paint the picture for the FEMA survivors.
Okay, and then I don't see permanent Lahaina housing Kahaleakiola. That was 5 acres, I think 32 bedroom units and like 48 transitional housing. I did meet with Home Aid about the potential of building a temp site either on or adjacent and hooking up to the utilities over there, and potentially, if it's a temp mobile site, it could be used as a shelter in the future in a different location. If you're talking about solutions, is that a possibility? Because I mean, I think their current location is 1 acre and has like 60 something small units, but I mean, it would be better for family size temp units. And then, you know, if Kahaleakiola rebuilds, that temp modular thing could be moved to another location, because we do have a problem for our unsheltered residents. Is that a possibility? Like, what would it take to get something up like quick?
I think the short answer is yes, these are all real possibilities, and we do need to engage in those solutions with you folks. So we were just trying to paint the picture of what's happening now, but we can come back and talk about those very specific solutions in the future. Happy to do that.
Okay. I'd like to welcome Chair Lee to the committee meeting. Aloha Winala, are you alone in your workspace?
Aloha Winala, thank you. Yes, I am alone in my workspace. Very sorry for being late.
Oh, don't worry. We held off on executive session just for you.
But
We're,
you have quorum, right? You have quorum.
We had quorum. We're in questioning about the temp to permanent housing and the DCMP transition from state to county. If you had any questions on that before we go into, and then Member Cook, if you want Member Cook to go first. But we're doing one round of that before we talk about the Lania Poco Irrigation Company situation.
Yeah, why don't you let him go first?
Okay, go ahead, Member Cook. It's 4-minute intervals.
Thank you, Chair. The Kilohana 157, that's the temporary modular. Is that going to go to DHHL? What's the plan for those? Because they're basically livable homes that are being used that can be moved and used.
Yeah, it's the intent is to turn those into permanent housing. That final end configuration, location, all that is not set yet. The current plan is to utilize them in the interim while we still have these bigger multifamilies being built, but within the next 4 years to transition those units to permanent homes, because they are well built from all the reports that we've gotten. And if you look at them, so we're looking to try to make those into a permanent solution.
That's good news. I mean, that, because it could be a whole bunch of different places. As long as we have our land use and permitting and et cetera, we accommodate it.
Right.
It could provide housing in a variety of different places, because it wouldn't have to, as far as the reuse recycling, does it have to be related to the fire?
Not necessarily, no. It's really about the how well built those units are versus a truly temporary structure. So they have a pretty long lifespan relative to almost any normal home that you'd build. So
insofar as the who paid for them, what the function was, there's a sunset clause for that would free them up, that the county could potentially be able to use them.
So there is a donation program that HIEMA has asked for, that literally just today we got the approval to go ahead with, like right before this meeting.
Yeah.
So there's a sales and donations program that FEMA is enacting that allows them to transfer those units to either the state or the county. And those particular units, what we've agreed to do is transfer them to the county via the state. And so we won't end up paying for them. They will donate those to us.
So we would basically potentially, it depends. Anyway, I'm excited because we need a lot of, even if it was the homeless wraparound services and the different districts. So it would be prepping the site, doing some utilities, moving them and putting them there. So anyway, I'm all excited. Look out.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that that was a good end result of how much FEMA put into those actual units, because if you look at what happens, most other places that FEMA will get involved in temporary housing, they're going to look a lot more like a trailer. These look like ADUs or and they're well built. So
one of the challenges, they put the gable on site, right? So you'd have to be partially dismantled to move them through the tunnel if they did.
yeah, we don't want to move them. We don't want to move those far. That would be a very expensive venture, but we do think that they are a good housing solution, perhaps a starter home. There's all kinds of good ideas out there. That program we're going to develop. That's the reason why Recovery is going to grab that one.
Cool. Is that the case with any of the other, is there any other temporary stuff that's might be able to be recycled?
Maybe.
Enough said. Thank you, Chair. I don't want to take up all the time.
Thank you. Anyone else? This is first round. The only ones that haven't had an opportunity is Charlie and Member Rollins Fernandez. Are you good to move on? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Oh,
Chair.
sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick. We can get a correction if I'm wrong on any of this, but the multifamily recon awarded to Komohana Hale, a conditional award. Lahaina Surf, Front Street Apartments, I think phase 1 and 2.
Yes.
Halimaholu Aono, Weinberg Court Apartments, and then the project title is West Side Affordable Housing, but it's Kahaleakeola. And Kahaleakeola, just getting back to that piece, they are eligible for public assistance. And I can't remember offhand, I want to say it was about 60 million that they got qualified for through FEMA, but we can get corrected on that later if we go back and look at the data. But
Public assistance in addition to their CDBG-DR award?
yeah, so they essentially, I'm sure the data has changed since, because my recollection is from some time ago. But, the rebuild was going to be X amount. I think it was, 90 million or something like that. About 60 million in PA. They had about $20 million in insurance proceeds. Hawaii Community Foundation gave them an allotment. I think it was about $10 million or so. And then John talks about this all the time, but about how DR is being used to kind of be that last remaining piece. And so the DR element is kind of filling that gap, essentially, yeah.
And is Kahaleakeola still planned to be 32-bedroom units and 48 transitional? Or, that's...
Chair, we can follow up with you guys after. As one of the pieces that we're doing with the Waine'e planning efforts is to provide additional space for Kahaleakeola to potentially be able to expand in the future. Some of the things that they were dealing with early on was in relation to the PA process and whether FEMA would allow them to kind of still recoup the same amount of money, but do something different than was there previously. So that was some of the things that were being worked through to see if they had to kind of essentially do a like for like or would be able to provide some expansion.
Because we're at over 90 million for 70 units, it seems.
Well, Chair, it also included, kitchen, shelter space, surge capacity, services on site, parking. There's, all kinds of other stuff, not just the physical units that were in the back, but they had other services and other programmatic elements. So, yeah. And unfortunately, just costs a lot for everything nowadays too.
Okay, and so Kayahale o Kahiluhilu has nothing to do with what we're talking about. That was just straight error.
Well, Chair, I mean, I would say that all the affordable housing projects coming up in relation to when we're looking at a transition from people from kind of that temporary assistance to permanent assistance, they all play a role. Even Haleopi Ikea and like all these other projects that are coming up, it's opportunities for people to be able to move into units that they can afford and are permanent units, new permanent units are available. So I would say it would play a role in that regard. But in regards to the slide, what we're trying to relay was programs and projects being funded by DR that would have essentially a similar unit count and or mixture type that was needed to kind of transition people off of the temporary side to permanent side.
Okay, thank you. So I think we have all the people that we're gonna have on the meeting now, 2, 4, 6, 7. We got word that Member Batangan was excused and Member Sinensi is excused, so we're not expecting them. Last meeting, we went into executive session regarding the land component with Kamehameha Schools. And we were gonna do a separate executive session regarding the water component. Is there anything regarding the water component that can be said in executive session or open session?
Thank you, Chair. I think we stated really what could be at the last meeting. If there's a, I guess reminder presentation or whatnot needed, I'm happy to do so. But otherwise, I think we stated, at least in terms of a presentation, what we anticipated talking about in open session. Thanks.
So that's on slide 22. The open session information on 22, 23, and 24. Does anyone have any questions on slide 22, 23, or 24? That I guess at that time they'll say if it's open session question or executive session question. Member Sugimura.
So I'm looking at the slide and I think everything we're talking about, like acquiring the system, and would the administration also be sharing with us now or in executive session, like how much would it cost to operate? I think it's one thing to get the system and what is the next steps in terms of operating it to be sure that it is something that the county is ready to take over. So I'm looking at that slide 22.
Mm-hmm. Is if someone can advise us if that's an open session question or an executive session question.
Thank you, Chair. I think our anticipation was we would talk about that in exec, but yeah. And also, Chair, if you don't mind, if I can call up Deputy Landgraf and then excuse Administrator Smith, if that's all right.
Yeah, last call. Anyone want anything from Administrator Smith? Nothing? Okay. Deputy Spear, would you like to be excused as well? Thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to your update on the correspondence with Haleola'i.
If I may, Chair, I apologize for going out of order. I did receive an update. The communication is in process of approvals and will be sent soon. We are aware from, anecdotally talking and working with the folks on the ground, it appears that knowledge is known, but we're in the final stages. The state's in the final stages of approving the formal communication that will be going out.
Okay, and thank you, Deputy Spear, for that information. Final stages, everyone knows that the transition is occurring. That's great news. I believe we can let go of Director Mitchell as well at this time. Okay. All right, and we're gonna switch out. We already did recognize Deputy Director Landgraf as a resource person. and he's approaching a seat with a microphone. Was there anything at all that you wanted to say in open session?
No, Chair, I'm good.
Okay. Would, let me get to my notes because executive session. The chair will entertain a motion to convene an executive meeting in accordance with section 92-5 paren A paren 3 Hawaii revised statutes to deliberate concerning the authority of persons designated by the county, the council, or the committee to conduct labor no, sorry, wrong one, right? I think it's section 92-5-4 or paren A paren 4.
Chair, it would be both bases. 92.5A3 includes negotiations for the acquisition of public property.
Okay, sorry, my bad. So to conduct labor negotiations or to negotiate the acquisition of public property or during the conduct of such negotiations, and section 92-5 paren A paren 4 Hawaii revised statutes to consult with legal counsel on questions and issues pertaining to the powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities of the county, the council, and the committee. An affirmative vote of 2/3 of the voting members present, provided the affirmative vote constitutes a majority of the members to which the board is entitled. So with 7 members present, I think we need 5 votes. So would anyone care to make that motion? Member Cook moves and Member Uuhajan seconds to enter into executive session for DRIP 9 paren 12 relating to the proposed acquisition of Laniapoko Irrigation Company Incorporated's water infrastructure assets. Any discussion before we take the vote? Okay, we're taking the vote. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Chair, that's 7 ayes, 0 noes to excuse members Batangan and Sinensi. Motion passes.
Okay, for the record, the following personnel will be attending the executive session meeting. All council members in attendance, myself, Committee Chair Tamara Paultin, Committee Vice Chair Nohelani Uuhajan, Council Member Tom Cook, Council Member Gabe Johnson, Council Chair Alice Lee, Council Member Keani Rollins Fernandez, and Council Member Yukile Sugimura. Office of Council Service Staff, Carla Nakata, Legislative Attorney, Yvette Boutillier, Senior Committee Secretary. May I please ask Corporation Counsel to state who from the Department of Corporation Counsel or Administration will be in executive session and your titles, please?
Myself, Michael Hopper. I think Nancy Zhao is available and Caleb Rowe may be available. I'm not sure. But those are myself and Nancy Zhao, I believe, are available for the executive session. Caleb, maybe.
Mr. Nishita, would you like to say who from the administration will be attending executive session?
Thanks, Chair. Josiah Nishita, Managing Director, and Kimo Landgraf, Deputy Water Supply. I'm not aware, Kimo, if anybody else is needed. I think it's just the 2 of us from admin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, the chair would like to call for a 5-minute recess to...
Oh, excuse me, Chair. We don't see Deputy Corporation Counsel Caleb Rowe online, so at this point we would say that if he's not available right now, then we won't be including him in the executive meeting.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Hopper?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so Deputy Corp Counsel Caleb Rowe is not coming in. So at this time, the chair would like to call for a 5-minute recess to 2:35 p.m. And then when we come back, we will be convening in an executive meeting and staff will be moving you over, so don't touch anything. And so this meeting of the Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee is now in recess. The Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee is reconvened at 3:58 p.m. Members, we have just completed our executive meeting in DRIP 9-12. Carla can provide the summary in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statutes 92-4.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Under Section 92 for Hawaii Revised Statutes, your committee conducted an executive meeting with the following bases: Section 92.5A3 HRS to discuss negotiations of the acquisition of public property, and under 92.5A4 HRS to consult with legal counsel on questions and issues pertaining to the powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities of the county, the council, and the committee. Your committee limited its discussion to areas of Maui's long-term recovery operations, specifically as it related to acquisition of water assets. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I will not be allowing further discussion because we got to get out of here. And so if there's no objections, I'll defer this item. This concludes today's Disaster Recovery International Affairs and Planning Committee meeting. Thank you very much, everyone. The time is now 4 o'clock and this meeting is adjourned.